We have a couple of, oh yeah, Pippo says I'll be in tomorrow. I want a 50% discount. Oh, we'll see about that now in a few
What?
moments.
50%.
In a few moments, it's going to be your favorite part of the show. We're going to have crack karaoke with Steve Unicky, and while he's getting ready, I'm going to tell you a couple of things. First of all, in the second half of the show tonight, we're going to be joined by Leah and Liz, two members of a committee that is organising Common Ground Festival, which is taking part out in St. Peter's Square, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, the 15th of August. And they're going to be telling you the meaning behind that, what to expect on the day, and lots more. So stay tuned for that. Also, the 20th of November this year marks the 10th anniversary of Red Books. What started as the smallest bookshop in Ireland in a converted bull shed in rural Bridgetown has become a communities in fact, that go far beyond myself or even the concept of book selling. Like we have a radio station in here now with Tony, and there's all sorts of groups meeting here. So to celebrate, we will be holding a 10th anniversary weekend featuring music, spoken word, literature, and much more. We are also looking for people's personal memories and reflections of Red Books for a tie-in project. So if you have any special memories of Red Books or Raymond or Peter or anybody else, please send them by email to redbookswexford@gmail.com or comment under this post on social media. Even if you want to send us a video or send us some pictures you took in the shop years ago, maybe you have pictures from the original shop in Bridgetown or the early days in Wexford, send us something in, and we'll have all sorts of prizes and stuff as well. But now
Okay,
it's
well,
time.
yeah.
It's time to get busy. It's time for crack karaoke. What do we have, Steve?
Before we start, I'm just going to say, I'm going to sing a couple of, like, not quite like major hits of Neil Young. I'm going to sing Human Highway, and then I'm also going to sing One of These Days. And Human Highway is a song off of the 1978 album Comes a Time. And I've talked a lot about 1978 in my life, sort of like a dark period and a journey of some confusion across Europe. I was in Amsterdam in 1978, and I was thinking, wow, Amsterdam is so wonderful. It's like hippies are here. It's this wonderful place. I went into a bar in Amsterdam, and they were playing Sister Moonshine by Supertramp, and I hadn't heard that music in quite some time since I had been home. So I really, really was getting into it, and just like probably my body was going through contortions or something. And all of a sudden, they lifted the needle off the turntable, and the entire bar like just laughed at me. And it was just like the coldest thing. And I left that bar thinking, the world is just awful. It's just horrible to people. And it was like confirming my whole attitude at the time. Anyway, this song is very different. It's like it's a response to like wanting to change from that attitude. It's like somebody who's had all their armor on, and then now they want to take it off, and they want to try to sing plaintively. I love this song. I've always have loved it off of Comes a Time, and I hope we don't have a technical failure now that I've told that story.
Oh,
Good. We're on. Come down from the misty mountain. I got lost on the human highway. Take my head, refreshing fountain. Take my eyes from what they've seen. Take my head and change my mind. How could people get so unkind? I come down from the crooked mansion. I went looking for the DJ's daughter. Since that day, I've heard it mentioned that my name is on the line. Now my name is on the line. How could people get so unkind? The wonderful thing about the song is its simplicity. It's very deep and simple.
I've never heard it before, I have to admit.
Oh, you should listen to Comes a Time. It's a wonderful album.
Shame on you, Bobby.
Yeah. Now my name is on the line. How could people get so unkind? Come down from the misty mountain. I got lost on the human highway. Take my head, refreshing fountain. Take my eyes from what they've seen. Take my head and change my mind. How could people get so unkind?
Well done, Steve.
Oh, we'll do one more.
Yeah.
Now, this next one, I'll tell a little story about this one too. It's called One of These Days, and it was written an album in 1992. Oh God, I can't remember. All of a sudden, I can't remember the album. It's one of his other famous albums. But the thing that's striking about this song, oh, from Harvest Moon, of course, there it is. I wrote it down. Thanks, Wally. Anyway, he writes about a song about something that wouldn't even happen today with our social media and everything. He's lost touch with all of his friends, and he's going to write a long letter to each of them. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is that years later, he wrote a book called Waging Heavy Peace, which I read, and it was published in 2012. A great book. Talk about a auto fiction or whatever. It's autobiography that's real. And he finally writes that long letter in this book. He talks about all of his friends, some of them that died, bandmates and everything. It's a wonderful book. And the only reason he wrote it is because he had a health crisis that prevented him from recording music for 6 or 8 months or something. I think he had a brain aneurysm and he recovered from it. Also, he had a broken leg or something. He was in a cast. So he sat down at the typewriter and wrote this book, and it's a wonderful book. And this is sort of like the anticipation of him writing that book someday. And it's called One of These Days. It's not a hit, but it's a wonderful song. One of these days, I'm gonna sit down and write a long letter to all the good friends I've known. And I'm gonna try to thank them for the good times together. Though so apart we have grown. One of these days, I'm gonna sit down and write a long letter to all the good friends I've known. One of these days, one of these days, one of these days, and it won't be long, won't be long, won't be long, won't be long. And I'm going and I'm gonna thank that old country fiddler and all those rough boys who play that rock and roll. I never tried to burn any bridges, though I know I let some good things go. One of these days I'm gonna sit down and write a long letter to all the good friends I know. One of these days, one of these days, one of these days, and it won't be long, be long, won't be long, won't be long. Down in LA, all the way to Nashville, New York City, to my Canadian prairie home. My friends are scattered like leaves from an old maple. Some are weak and some are strong. One of these days I'm gonna sit down and write a long letter to all the good friends I know. One of these days, one of these days, one of these days, and it won't be long, won't be long, won't be long, won't be long. These days, one of these days, one of these days, and it won't be long, won't be long, won't be long, long. One of these days, one of these days, one of these days, and it won't be long, won't be long, won't be long, won't be long.
Well done, Steve.
Buddies.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Now, stay where you are, because in just a moment he's getting ready there. We're going to have Dr. Unity's Almanac. First of all, couple of events coming up. And of course, you can text us in WNPMR.com. There's a chat group there. So keep your messages coming in. Coming up this Thursday night at 7 p.m. in Red Books Underground, we have the Chapter and Verse Collective, a great night of music and poetry, which will include Steve Unicky, all brought together by JJ Bird. Friday night this week
Big
at
Bird Plop.
7:30 p.m. we have the Driftwood Sessions, run by Shane Kenny. Great original music in Red Books in St. Peter's Square. A week of Friday night, I think also at 7 p.m. Friday the 14th in Red Books OG. We have Persons Unknown, the first open mic they're going to do up here. So that's going to be a mixture of song and literature. Common Grounds, which we'll be talking about after the break, will be on the 15th out in St. Peter's Square. The 21st to the 23rd of August, Red Books will be in the Graignamanagh Town of Books Festival, one of the best anywhere. And Eclectic Picnic is coming up on the 28th of August to the 30th of August, and we're going to have a lot of poetry, the Great Debate, and a lot of other events.
It's going to be fantastic.
In Red Books Underground in Eclectic Avenue.
Yeah.
And told there'll be a lot of events going on down there that weekend. So we have a message just in there from Big Bird Plop. Says Chapter and Verse is a great night. Your man, the host, is amazing. Like, yeah,
He really is. That's the JJ. He's the man.
now
He's
it's
full of it.
time for Dr. Unity's Almanac. What do you have for us?
Well, this
week, Dr.
is going to
Unity?
be very interesting because I went into the archives and I had a very tough time finding this article. I was looking for it. It's called The World's Shortest Definition for Economic Development. And I had some trouble finding this article. And I want to tell you something. Most of the article is really, really true today. But I wrote the article back in 2004 when I was in Minot, and it was published in Prairie Classic, published by the late Heidi Foy. And I'm going to read this and point out a couple of things at the end that are striking to me, and especially the very end. Okay, so here we go. The world's shortest definition for economic development. What is economic development? I like brief and concise definitions. The briefest definition on record is this one 3-letter word. Economic development is art. That's not only the shortest definition, but also one of the oldest definitions around. This definition for economic development is actually hundreds of years old, and yet it's still relevant. Few people today are actually aware of the origin of the word art and what this word has to do with economic development. I myself was not even aware until I stumbled onto an old text in a search for insight and material for my history of economic thought class at Minot State University in Minot, North Dakota, USA. The book I found was entitled Predecessors of Adam Smith, The Growth of British Economic Thought by E.A.J. Johnson. You never believe what I read in this book. The title doesn't indicate you're going to hear anything surprising, probably, but here's what I learned. Art is an old French word originally derived from ars, a Latin word which roughly means to fit. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, here are a few of the original meanings of art, which go back to the 1200s or even earlier. It's skill, it's display or application, it's skill in doing anything as a result of knowledge or practice. These two meanings imply human skill, not artificial skill or intelligence of an artificial machine, but human skill. Okay, I had to emphasize that. This is how Chaucer used the word. This is how Shakespeare did also. For example, in Romeo and Juliet, now art thou what thou art by art as well as nature. From there, the word art really got around in the English language. One branch of meaning finally penetrated to our modern understanding of the word, skill in matters of taste, poetry, music, painting, and dancing. Johnson noted that Oxford lexicographers did not find the word art used for aesthetic pursuits without qualification till the 1880s. More pertinent to economic development are the uses of the word art in terms of a craft, a business, or a profession. According to David Hume, art is an occupation in which the skill is directed toward the gratification of taste or production of what is beautiful. It's interesting to note, Wally, that Ernest L. Ceroli, who we talked about last week, said entrepreneurs and others fostering economic development are passionate about what they do beautifully. That was an interesting observation.
Yeah.
How did the word art ever become part of the words artful and artifice? Johnson wrote, at first, artifice meant the making of anything by art, construction, or workmanship. Presently, it began to refer to the product of art as a mode of style of workmanship from which it branched off into the equivalent of constructive skill or ingenuity. Art and ingenuity, that's a big one right there. Eventually, though, the word artifice and artful got soured into implying cunning or trickery, as in the Dickens character from Oliver Twist known as the Artful Dodger. This character was a skilled pickpocket who taught others the trade. Adam Smith, the founder of modern economic theory, who was one of Hume's best friends, wrote that the wealth of the nation was based on labor productivity. In coming to this conclusion, he was influenced by generations of writers before him who recognized that skill and contrivances of art were what increased the productivity of every work hour and therefore the wealth of communities, regions, and nations. Art does many things. It causes greater conservation of natural resources, lower prices for goods, higher variety and quality of services, greater interest among buyers in export markets for a community's home product. The driving wheel of this progression toward wealth eludes economic planners. It's the ingenuity of individuals acting in ways unimaginable to those planners. Individuals stirring up economic change, sharpening competition in local markets, and taking away market shares from established producers in outside markets. Chance, David Hume wrote, has a great role to play in the process which individuals make the arts progress. Now, there's something very antiquated about what I just read, because in our era of artificial intelligence, the process of art is being taken away from people unless they strive to keep it, right? So the ingenuity of individuals is kind of being dumbed down a little bit. That's my retrospective observation. Anyway, government has a role, but not the role many rulers through the ages have imagined. Government's best role is to be supportive of the progress of arts, for example, funding institutions of learning. Hume wrote that where the power is placed in the hands of one individual or narrow group, or whose laws are applied in an arbitrary or unfair way, the arts languish. Does this sound familiar to our current day and age with all the billionaires and so on? The arts and sciences do not arise and flourish among any group unless that people enjoys the blessings of a free government. The value and importance of art and economic development has further positive effects besides the requirement of human liberty. Art stimulates intellectual curiosity, compels residents of a community to be responsive and knowledgeable about their markets at home and about the outer world. Through application of art, Hume suggested the minds of men, once roused from their lethargy and put into fermentation, turn themselves on all sides and carry improvements to every art and science. That's what to expect to see when economic development is actually occurring. Art and more art. Now, there's a quaint conclusion to this column. I got to share this with you. Okay, right. I was writing back in 2004 in North Dakota, USA. This month's tip. There is a very insightful and funny column appearing in the Bismarck Tribune recently that illustrates the importance of art to real economic development. Now, I won't go into all the detail about what the column was. It's sort of, irrelevant at this point. But anyway, I invite people to look in their local library for this article. And I said, if that's too much trouble, send me your first-class mailing address and I will send you the article. I will even pay for the stamp. Send requests or make any comments you wish by email. My address is huneke@yahoo.com, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that fascinating? Because this is before an era where we shared things on social media. So I had an idea that I would like to share this article, but I had to tell people I'd send it to them in a letter if they couldn't find it in the library. Now, the thing that's interesting to me about that is the fact that it would be very effortless to post something online and share an article online, but it's also everybody will just pass through and not even make an effort probably. And it's all the noise and cacophony. Yeah. Also, the other thing I thought of is the fact that I had a lot of knowledge to share, and I probably had more readers for that article per capita than I would today on social media. Now, as I usually do, I'm going to close my almanac by reading a couple of haikus from Farewell to America. The first one is called Dead and Alive, Dead and Alive. If you find you found resolution and ending, fall down, get up, and sing. Specialization, this is the last one. If special people who accumulate knowledge can't teach you, you're done. That concludes the almanac today.
That's wonderful. Thank you again, Dr. Unike, for maybe the other thing that's missing, apart from mailing letters in this age of the internet, is being able to take in a calm oasis of wisdom like that, and you provide one for us every week. So we're truly grateful for that.
Thank
Steve.
you, Wally.
Thank you.
All.
Now you're listening to the Red Book Show on Wexford New People's Movement Radio. You can join the conversation here by going to our state-of-the-art website, WNPMR.com. It's a beautiful website, and there's a beautiful live chat feature there, so you can join in, ask us questions, and I know you're going to want to ask our two guests that are coming up after the break questions. We will have Leah and Liz from the Common Ground Festival, which will be taking place a week of Saturday in St. Peter's Square. But first, we're going to have a piece of music. This is Minnie